Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Vase. Wasn't planning on doing an episode today, and but Bitcoin started moving, so figured let me take a few minutes, and then I have to keep getting ready for my webinar that will start in a little bit. The webinar starts in about 2.5 hours. Not too late to join, and you can always purchase the recording then after. Okay, let's go to screen share. I'm on the Bitcoin chart. Maybe we'll just start there. Why not? Let me go over to the weekly view, not that weekly view, this weekly view. Why do I have so many of these things then? Oh, that's the hyperwave stuff. I don't think I really need this unless Tyler joins. Should probably close this. Let me make sure it's saved. We save it. Should be saved. All right, let's close. That's what do I name it? Bitcoin hyperwave. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll free up some spaces here. How we doing on views? We got 300 on right now. All right. All right, here's that weekly view. And this candle is starting to look very, very bad. Very bad. And today is Sunday, right? So today is the closing of this candle. Now, the sequential is still bullish, right? The sequential is still bullish, but this is a very troublesome candle. I don't like seeing this candle on a 5, though, if we don't fall any further, well, this will always close as a green 5, right? I mean, we would have to fall quite a bit. We would have to fall below $9,000 in the next 12 hours. Not fall 9,000, fall below 9,000 in the next 12 hours in order to have this be a red price flip. However, next week's candle needs to close above $10,831. So approximately where we are today, right? It has to close a little bit higher than we are right now in order to maintain the bullish count of a green 6, staying with the bullish trend. Once this weekly sequential flips over to a red 1, all bets are off. The sequential tells you that the weekly had just become neutral. Now, the sequential told you to sell, well, told me to sell around 5,200, which I did. It actually told me to buy right here at 5,400, which I didn't. It told me to sell what I didn't buy at 5,400. It told me, in hindsight, should have trusted the sequential on a weekly scale, but hindsight's always 20/20. Sequential then told me to sell right here off the reversal candle and this 9, which I kind of did. Only I sold it a little bit earlier than that. I sold it in this $7,000 range. I got a little impatient and I sold a little bit early. But because I didn't buy a trading position in, what I ended up selling here was my HODL position. Not all of it, of course, but I didn't want to risk a full-blown reversal back to this area where I could pick it up, right? So I have two choices, right? I can either try to profit from a bullish trade from here to there, which I didn't do. So my next best option was to be, because I'm a hodler of Bitcoin, I was willing to sell a piece of my HODL position here, and because it wasn't strong enough to short, and I don't like to short Bitcoin, it has to be a very rare occurrence that I short Bitcoin. For example, I shorted Bitcoin here because this was just too beautiful of a short trade to pass up. I prefer to short continuation trades, not reversal trades. Reversal trades are more dangerous to short, and this would have been a bad short. I would have ended up being stopped out. I don't think I would have taken a profit. I was looking for more downside. So I sold a piece of my HODL position, looking to buy that position back at a cheaper price. Now, the sequential 9 did its job. It told you to get out. But then right here with this green 2 going above this green 1, it once again Sequential on a weekly said get in, which once again, I did not do, right? Like you don't have to take on the trades that your TA is telling you. Hey, Seth, thanks for your comment. I will read it in 1 minute. And then we flew all the way up to 14. Now the sequential wasn't telling me to take additional profit here, but I wanted to, I just wasn't like around. And I am back in the US next week. And I would have loved to take some profit at the 14,000 or above range. But if that's not happening, then I'm not going to, right? Remember, I already sold a piece of my HODL in this area, and I intend to buy it back cheaper. So that is what I will wait for, or another good indication that we're going higher. Right now, neither of those things are happening. But if I get a red 1 and then a red 2 following that red 1, I will anticipate a much bigger correction. That's the weekly outlook. As of today, you see a reversal candle rejected from the 62% Fibonacci for the second time. And this moving average, guys, keep in mind, this moving average, this 20-period weekly moving average, has not been broken to the downside. Not even, well, it has been broken intra-week at the start of this week, and then it immediately closed, right? And then it supported. So this has now been support for Bitcoin since February, okay? I don't know what's going to happen when this moving average breaks. If we go below this moving average, I see no support up until the next moving average, which is all the way down in the $6,000 range. The daily has turned bearish. When did the daily sequential tell you that there's a bearish trade on the table? That is when this red 3 went below this red 2. This has also happened last night when I tweeted out that Bitcoin went below 11,000, and that now pretty much sets me up for a potential short trade. Well, I mean, I was out and hanging out and then sleeping, so I wasn't going to actually trade it, but those that paid attention could have. So this blue line, right? We fell below this blue line, and immediately it rallied all the way up, and everyone starts making fun of tone again, because that seems to be what everyone likes to do. Ooh, that's interesting. So I'm not going to go to the hourly chart, but right here, look at how well this setup trend line is supporting the price of Bitcoin until it isn't. And this is where it isn't. Actually, this 8 candle held support trend line as well. And then right now, boom, down we go, right? So we broke this, and then you rallied all the way up, but you didn't really rally all that far, right? You just rallied to the prior candle. Now we are on a 9 right now, and this candle ends in 1 hour. I won't be here this long on this video. There's no stopping this candle right now. You can attempt to catch this falling knife because you are at a 4-hour 200-period support. We will have to zoom in to lower level time frames. I think I will open an hourly chart. This is a catchable falling knife right here. It is a 9. It is at support, but you have to go into lower level time frames. Low chart. I am going to open up my hourly chart. Where's my hourly chart? 1 day, 1 week, 4 hours, 1 day, 1 day. There it is. It's unnamed. That's weird. It should be named. What does it matter? It's a 1 hourly chart. Last time I opened it. Oh no, this is an old one. BTC, there has to be a BTC USD 1 hour, no? I haven't opened this in a year. No, I've had it open before. Oh, but it's on BTC USD. It says Bitcoin Cash. I don't know. I gotta review my saved charts. Oh, we can open this. I'm gonna use it for my webinar anyway. I think it's 30 minutes right now on a 30-minute scale. Right, so this is a 30-minute scale. I'd rather look at the 1 hour first. Oh, look, the 1 hour is on an 8, and the next candle is going to be a 9.13. This is a good area to try and potentially catch a falling knife, but your stop loss is this area itself, right? You're taking a risk. I don't advise this kind of trading, but it's definitely doable. I'm getting to it a little bit late. 30 minutes is already starting to reverse. What's the count? Also on an 8. Ooh, this is interesting. Next candle will be a 9. And let me look at the 10-minute. 10-minute did not, it's a few candles past the 9, right? So I would, here's what I would do. If I felt like, you know, taking a small risk. Damn, love these reversal candles. Look at this, 9, reversal candle, 13 by right above the high of that candle. So here's what I would do. I would wait 12 more minutes. Oh man, I wish that door would just stay open somehow. Not flip around. Hold on a second, guys. I don't want to break this apartment. I have like a nice balcony out there, but the door keeps swinging. I want to put something there. You guys can't see. I'm in a little corner. 1 second. Yeah, it's like nice and windy, and I want to keep the door open there. Okay. So I would wait 11 more minutes, and then there'll be a 9 on the 30-minute chart. There will also be a 9 on the hourly chart. Yes. And I want to see how this plays out. So I'll definitely be with you for 10 more minutes, and then we'll see what happens. Let me plug my computer in here. Okay, hey Seth, I meant to read your question. Let's take a look. Hey Tone, did you catch the Tether printing 5 billion and then burning it in 4.5 billion and then burning it in 4.5 billion and 500 million chunks a couple of hours later? Timing of 5 billion printing brought price back over 11,000 when it first dipped last night. No, see, I don't pay attention to Tether printing. You guys should. I just pay attention to price. TA will tell me if the, I mean, obviously that Tether would be, I mean, I'm waiting for Tether. Where's Tether on this chart? Volume, that's probably Tether. Based on volume, right? I mean, look at the volume. The volume is 7 billion. Look at the volume of Bitcoin, right? The next highest is Ethereum right here, and is this? I don't know what this is. Litecoin? Probably Litecoin. No, it's not Litecoin. This is B Trash. I know that has very little volume. This probably Litecoin, right? Yeah, it's got to be. I don't think Litecoin's $29. The hell is $29? Not that any of this stuff matters. Yeah, this is Tether. Actually, I should have just looked at the price. It's $1, not the volume. But yeah, so here's your Tether, and here is the market cap of Tether, and it's almost 4 billion, right? So I'm waiting for Tether to start printing 1 billion a day, and then it'll move up the ranks, and then maybe it'll make it all the way to number 2. If they start printing 1 billion a day, they should be at the number 3 slot within a couple of weeks. and then maybe at the number 1 shitcoin slot within a couple of months, and then maybe then the government will take it seriously, right? Like, guys, how come I don't have a problem with Tether? You guys have a problem with Tether, and I'm the guy that says there's no manipulation in the market, right? Like, hey, Tether is doing what they're doing, right? Like live with it, right? Shouldn't you be happy that the price is rising? I'm the bear here. Okay, let's go back to the charts. All right, so what am I looking for right now? Actually, I should save this example for our entries, exits, and stop losses. Not exactly sure what new I'm going to teach people if I'm talking about it right now. So let's go back to that 30-minute chart. We'll wait several more minutes. Let's take a look at some other charts. We'll get back to this in there may not be a trade in 10 minutes. We'll see what happens in 7 minutes. So this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and it continues to break down. Ethereum is royally screwed. This is a terrible looking chart. So I don't see how Ethereum survives. What's the value of Ethereum? It's 244. Ethereum is going to go significantly lower, especially if the price of Bitcoin dips. Especially if the price of Bitcoin falls, it corrects down to 8 or down to 6. This stuff is going to get annihilated. I mean, Bcash is going to go down to below 200. It'll eventually go to 0. A lot of this stuff will eventually go to 0. Where were we here? Ethereum. Yep, Ethereum in dollars tops on a 8 is a reversal candle. Then you have your 9, and it's over. Now a red 2 going below a red 1 next week, and Ethereum is in serious trouble. So Ethereum had a double 9, and it's over. Litecoin. Litecoin isn't looking much better. Litecoin looks like it's in serious trouble. It's on a 7 of 9 on a daily. The weekly has plenty of downside to go. And remember, Litecoin actually gets in trouble below this line. Ethereum is already below the equivalent of this line. So Ethereum is in already worse shape than Litecoin. The Litecoin disaster doesn't even begin until after it goes under 0.00725 Bitcoin. And here's the daily. And it was the 12-hour that I thought could have been promising, but it didn't amount to much. All these, potential reversals, and then a huge reversal candle, and it just consolidated instead. And the 12-hour is about to hit a 9 next candle. I don't think it'll amount to much because the daily and the weekly are full-blown bearish still. Litecoin versus dollars. Thoughts on Deutsche Bank? Not really. There's really no thoughts. I mean, who cares? It's a $7 stock. If the bank goes down, can Europe collapse? Sure. Another double 9 in the Litecoin versus US dollars, and not looking good at all. This is the weekly scale. It's just starting its descent, and the daily scale is in the middle of its descent. Broke setup trend after nicely bouncing off of it, and all the moving averages are crossing, and Litecoin is probably on its way. Oh, it went up quite a bit, didn't it? Litecoin potentially is on its way to new lows. What happens to the Litecoin believers when Litecoin falls below December 2018 lows, while Bitcoin is still double its 20? Like if Bitcoin falls to 6,000, but during that time Litecoin falls below 20, what happens to the Litecoin faithfuls? They will disappear. They will change their Twitter handles. They will disappear. They will not show their face. They will reappear as other anonymous Twitter handles, believing in some other garbage, or if they actually learn something in their life, they will now believe in Bitcoin. I have no idea what this is. Probably Ripple. Oh, this is, I can close this. I did this chart for one of my presentations. It's probably gold. No, it's grayscale. This is, I don't need to talk about that. All right, we got 4 more minutes and then we'll go back to Bitcoin. Mining profitability. If anyone needs this ticker, it's Unquando something, MIREV. I believe that miner profitability will once again at one point touch this line. And I believe that would be a buying opportunity. This was the chart this was the closest I was going to be convinced that 3,000 was the bottom. And I've mentioned it many times around that time. And I still believe that we will touch this line once again. You can see how right here, we went up. And then after the halving, we touched this line again. But remember, just because we touched this line again, the price of Bitcoin here is double what the price of Bitcoin was here, right? So if we touch this line again after the halving, it just means that the price of Bitcoin here is double what it was there. So it would be, let's say, $6,000 potentially after the halving or before the halving. Before the halving, that means we're going to go back to the $3,000 area. I do like this chart. It's pretty consistent. US dollar is starting to decline a little bit again. So that means gold was probably a good beneficiary. Oh, but it's the weekend, right? I'm sure we looked at this already. Yeah, so gold was a bit of a beneficiary. I am bullish gold technically, not fundamentally. Oil is okay, not really gonna mention it. Just want to glance at the S&P and then we'll be done with it. I have no thoughts on Deutsche Bank. I haven't had time to read any of the news about Deutsche Bank. All I can do is look at its chart, and I can tell you that it's not shortable because it's too cheap. And when euro breaks this setup trend line, euro's in trouble. That I can tell you. Let's just say I'm leaving Europe. I don't really want to bring any euros back to the US with me. I'd rather get rid of my euros and buy cheaper euros when I come back here in September. And I'm bullish the S&P 500, even though the NASDAQ is topped. The NASDAQ has 9s all over the place. And that's the Turkish lira. I was doing something. Turkish lira is in an interesting scenario here. It can really go either way. I'm kind of neutral on the Turkish lira right now. Okay, I'm not going to glance at US stocks, but this should be my US stocks list. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's find that 30-minute chart. Okay, there's the 30-minute chart. It is a reversal candle that ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Okay, I can glance at lower time frames. 15. Ooh, I like that reversal candle and at a 9. So what I would do here is probably a little prematurely, but I like all these 9s on lower level time frames. So what I would be doing is I would be going long somewhere here. On a break above this line, I would consider going long. So if I move up the time frame, if I move it up back to 30 minutes, I am going long in between the close and the high of that candle. I'm going in a little prematurely because I trust the 9 on a 30-minute, and I trust the 9. I really wish I was doing this in my entries, exits, and stop losses. So you guys get a free teaser, and then we'll be doing this for 4 hours starting in 2 hours from now. So it's not too late to register. And now if I move this up to 1 hour, it's also a 9. So I have 9s all over the place. So except the 10-minute chart. And I really like the 10-minute chart too. So I would go long above this line here. Hopefully it'll execute me into a long trade. I'm not actually going to pull up a trading account while live with you guys. That would be crazy. Can't have more accounts banned. And if it doesn't trigger, it doesn't trigger, right? Because remember, I'm trying to get into a long trade. And the last thing I want to do is buy it here and watch it drop. You know, so this is why I like buying them on with momentum in the up direction. Any lower level time frames that are useful? 5 minute. Ooh, you know what? I like this 5 minute. I'm actually going to adjust this to the top of that candle. A little bit higher. So I wanted a 5 minute and I was hoping to lower my entry, but I'm forced to raise my entry. So it looks like about, come on, 10,770. Right, because if I look at the 5 minute chart, we're continuing to make lower highs. But right here, we have a consistent low. So it is a bit of a descending triangle. But this descending triangle breaks if we break above that line. I believe that's an entry. So that's the entry. And now what we need to do, we've entered the long trade right there. And now I need to set a stop loss immediately. Now, where would I set this stop loss? Okay, now my initial stop loss gets set below the swing low. That's my stop loss, below the swing low. First chance I get, I will raise this stop loss. Somewhere right there. The moment I don't like this trade, I exit with a loss. I have no problem with that. I know I am trying to catch a falling knife here, right? There's also probably divergence between these two. Ooh, there is not divergence. That is not in my favor. There is no divergence. Let's move up a time scale. Here's the hourly chart. There is also no divergence. Though I'm not looking at the RSI and I'm not looking at the MACD. I'm just looking at, well, CMF has a little bit of a divergence. OBV doesn't. Now, how much am I risking in this trade? If I am in at 10,770, my stop loss is 10,580. So that's about $200. So I'm looking at a $200 worth of risk on one Bitcoin, right? So that means if I've entered one Bitcoin, so I'm in here, we go down to there. That is $175 because I'm in right at the close of that candle, right? So that was the plan. So I actually have to lower this. The plan was to be right at the top of that candle. Boom, where that, the close of that candle. That's the entry. That was the entry right there. So this trade's now making you money. That's your initial stop loss. Now, I am risking $175. Now, once this trade starts making me more than I've been risking, I will at the least move the stop loss. Oh, not that. Move the stop loss up to somewhere to the bottom of these candles, if not break even. And then, it's a no risk trade. Right now, it's a trade of $175 worth of risk in attempting to catch a falling knife. Using sequential, the only reason I entered this trade was because I trusted sequential on very low level timeframes. Now, I am hoping that these low level timeframes, sequential, like the 30-minute is on a 9, and the hourly is on a 9, and the 4-hour is on a 9. That's the hourly is on a 9, and the 4-hour is on a 9 as well. And I'm hoping that this bounces me a little bit. Though the bigger time frames are very bearish. So you have to be very careful. This is not the trade you really want to make. The trade you want to make is the continuation trade down. So I'm only looking for 1 to 4 candles in a 4-hour candle bar. If this trade makes it back to 11,150, I'll be very, very happy, right? I do think this can bounce back to the area of the breakdown, and the last area of the breakdown was 11,150. I'll stay with you guys a few more minutes, but that's about it. Am I doing an options course? Probably in August. I have to get back to the US and think about it. Yeah, of course, the entries, exits, and stop losses will be available on demand. And once I have a bunch of on demands, there'll be like a discounted group package eventually. Yeah, I went over a bunch of all right, let me go back to the 30-minute chart and see how our trade's doing. I'm still somewhat confident in this trade. We'll see how it goes. The moment I feel uncomfortable with the trade, I'm out. I don't have to wait for my stop loss to get hit. The moment I'm not comfortable with it, I'm out. Hopefully, I'm not comfortable with it and I get out in a profit versus I'm not comfortable and I get out at a loss. So I took a look at all of these last time. They're all on 9s. Amazon is on a 9. I would be getting out, taking my profit if I was long. Google on a 9 and reversal candles. I would be, and Google's in a bit of a downtrend. Not only would I be getting out of my bullish trades, I would potentially be looking to short Google here. I said potentially. Netflix is not a 9. Now, Tesla is also on a 9, but it's on a 9 that isn't scaring me, right? So Tesla is on a type of 9 that I would potentially take some profit, but not interested in a short trade because that's not the kind of 9 that I like to short because of the candle. Facebook hit its 9, but then Friday was a big update. Now, keep in mind, the entire NASDAQ is on a 9. And not only is NASDAQ on a 9 daily, NASDAQ is on a 9 weekly, which I forgot to say last time. Oh, no, it's not on a 9. Sorry, it's on a sequential 13 weekly. Why do I think it was on a 9 weekly? Maybe monthly? No, it can't be on a 9 monthly. So yeah, so it's on a 9 daily. It's on a 13 weekly. So I would be careful with the tech stocks right here. I think NVIDIA was, no, not NVIDIA, AMD. AMD was on a 9 a few days ago and it reversed. Also, not exactly the kind of 9 I would have been looking to short, but take profit, yes. This is a beautiful 9 to buy. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. All right, so the trade is pretty much break even. It's not doing much. I like these trades to kind of move somewhat quickly. I would give it a full 30 minutes and then reevaluate. This is a dangerous trade. This is a high risk, high reward trade, because if you're right, this thing would go back to a rebound. And this is more of showing you risk management. Like I would not really be interested in making this trade, but the trade was there. I would rather short because like I said yesterday, right? Like once Bitcoin breaks 11,000, the trades you should be making are shorts, not trying to catch falling knives. But if you're the kind of person that likes to catch falling knives, there are, there are smart, risk-averse ways to do it, and this is one of those ways. However, I would rather time a short trade if it starts to go down. In fact, what I am actually going to do here is, instead of taking a stop loss at this blue line, I would actually do something else. I would short Bitcoin if it falls below this area. Not only would I exit my long, I would convert that long into a short here. So that's what I would do, because it's in a overall bad looking market between the 12-hour, 1 day, and 1 week, right? So those are your options. You can either take the stop loss here, because I don't want to short it here because then it would have fallen a little too far. I would short it a little earlier. But let's be optimistic that Bitcoin is ready for the moon. What are my thoughts on Blockstack? You know what? I need to review Blockstack a little bit more. I really want to talk about it in my law show. My thoughts on Blockstack is that they are going through the legal process of creating an equity. My problem with Blockstack is they created a useless token. Now, if that token has if the only purpose of that token is to be a security of that company and not actually used inside Blockstack, I would have no problem with it. But if they are actually using that token as a security and as a utility, I think Blockstack is being very scammy about their operation. And I like the people behind Blockstack, but I still think it's very scammy of them to create a security that then needs to be burned inside their product. It's kind of like Amazon stock being burned to buy on Amazon with. It's just ridiculous business and economic notion. But I'm not sure if they're doing that or not. I need to review what the hell Blockstack is actually doing. Does the US debt ceiling mean anything? Absolutely not. It never meant anything. Yeah, hey, Khaleesi. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Blockstack on our next Bitcoin Law Review. I'm back in the US. Might even swing by DC. Someone commented cheap alts right now. Yes, and they will only get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until someone pays you to hold them. I don't have much respect for the Litecoin people. I don't think they deserve it. They're diluting people by convincing them and businesses to accept and hold an inferior currency. It's like convincing US businesses to accept and hold the Turkish liras or the Indian rupees. Thank you, Khaleesi. Ooh, Tanzania. I want to go to Tanzania. Tanzania, mispronounced it. Maybe next year. All right. Well, we're watching paint dry here. We're in a bullish trade. I got to prepare for my actual class on entries, exits, and stop losses. So keep in mind why we entered this trade. It was done on a 5-minute scale. On a 5-minute scale, I wanted to, ooh, I like this chart. On a 5-minute scale, I wanted to jump in right above the prior closing candle or opening candle, the candle body. Going in above the candle body broke the pattern of lower highs. And right now, we are spending most of our time above this green line. If I go to the 10-minute scale, we should be price flipping. Next candle in 2 minutes should be a green 3 going above a green 2 if we continue to go higher. So the 5-minute is now bullish, coming to an end soon with an 8. The 10-minute is now bullish. We have the 30-minute is on a 9. I'm hoping that we price flip and go to a green 2 above a green 1. And the 1 hour is also on a 9. And the 4 hour is also on a 9, right? So all of my lower time frames were on 9s, which gave me an opportunity to try and catch a falling knife for a positive trade in a bear market, I might add. Now, the simple trade would have been to short below 11,000. And we fell all the way to 10,566 or 10,585. We fell to. I don't have any thoughts on Ichimoku clouds. Ichimoku clouds was never something I learned nor used to trade with. So no thoughts. I want to wait till like next candle on a 5-minute chart or a 10-minute chart. So we got 43 seconds. I'll definitely be done with this in the next 10 minutes. Oh, good time to promote. Hey, so everything I just showed you guys with the entry of that falling knife, we're going to be covering it in a few hours. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Right now, it's 7:20 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to start at 9 a.m. Eastern time, entries, exits, and stop losses webinar. It's going to be a little more not really scripted. We're going to do a little more, real life stuff. Maybe we'll just take a look at more Bitcoin. And but they'll be looking at stocks as well. And so that's going to happen. It will be another on-demand video then after. And I'm hoping that the people that are in this already understand introduction to trading and have an idea of TD sequential, even though that's not the only one we're going to use. We're going to use other methods to enter and exit trades besides the TD sequential. So if you guys like the show and you want to support this free content, please check out the affiliate page. And there's also a few more in my video descriptions, which should be on this page very, very soon. So go ahead and check this out. You can support by going there. If you want to learn how to trade, check out the Learn Trading section. And if you want to know where I'm traveling to, check out the calendar. And once I get back to the US, I will fill this out for the rest of the year and all the conferences I'll be speaking at and all the places I'll be going to. Just click on the month. You can hover over a flag that you may not recognize, like the Republic of Georgia, and that's where I'll be. All right, let's final look. We have flipped a candle, I'm sure, somewhere. I would like to see this candle go above this too. I like the 10-minute chart. I'm a big fan of the 10-minute chart. I would love for this to go bullish. That would give me more confidence in my trade. And on a 30-minute scale, the candle is going to end in 10 minutes. So I'll stick with it. for now and raise the stop loss anytime you like, especially when you actually start making money in the trade. This is an attempt at a falling knife catch based on sequential, very dangerous. Actually, the reward here is not great. Like, I'm not looking for upside above this setup trend line, right? I'm only looking for upside to 11,000 here. The probability that this thing goes sub 10,000 is significantly higher. This is just an example of how to minimize your risk if you really want to take a stab at something. I would rather be short this market right now than long. If we are pulling back, then I really don't like it. I would rather be out of this. It's already not moving up very fast. I should check the Tether website, see if they're printing any more Tether in the next 10 minutes. And if they're not, you may want to cut this trade because I'm no longer as thrilled with it, right? Let's go back to that 5-minute chart. We are on an 8 candle, and I don't really like it anymore. I would just get out. It's already price flipping. I would probably just get out. If it was going to move to the upside, it should have done it by now. So since I don't like to get out at a loss, I would like to get out right above my entry, cover my commissions, and say, hey, I tried to time the low. It didn't work. The other option is if I can't get out just above my entry, I would get out with the tiniest of losses. And if it crosses this blue line, I am out. And potentially thinking of shorting. So one of these two blue lines will get me out of this trade, either with the smallest of losses, between 770 and 725. So a $50 loss on a single Bitcoin. And there it is. And I'm out of this trade. I just didn't like it anymore. It was an attempt to catch a falling knife that didn't materialize. You tried and you exit. And now this is looking like a shortable asset to me. So if I am to take on a trade right now in Bitcoin, it would be a short. See, you're breaking the lows. You tried to pick it up off of this reversal candle right here. Didn't go, didn't materialize. You have to realize it as early as possible. You got to get out of that trade. And the only trade now on the table is, for me, is to the downside. Yep, I no longer like this 9 as a reversal. You still have 30 minutes to go. Anything can happen. This could still be at 13. Once this thing drops below this, it will print at 13. Yeah, it's a 913. It's lovely. It's on the hourly chart. But maybe you can try again. I would watch this area carefully. I just don't like how the higher level time frames, like the daily, is pretty bearish. The daily and the 12-hour. And the weekly isn't looking too hot. All right, guys, on this note, I am going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. And let me stop the screen share. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see some of you in 1.5 hours. Bye, guys.